just where I wanna go. Taking a new ride, gonna find.
Hello out there, it's Alex, and I'm here to share a look into the process of creating my mixed media painting, Dusk. First off, if you're a returning viewer here, welcome back, and if this is your first time, welcome. I'm an artist and illustrator from New Hampshire who loves lighting, color, and mixed media. As of right now, it's the summer before my senior year of college, and I want to create work that brings viewers like you into new fantastical stories. So with Dusk, I started off by laying in my shadows over the whole piece in cool and warm purples and followed that with glazes of each local color in the piece. A lot of the magic of watercolor mixed media for me is the stained glass effect that transparent media bring. I like to achieve this by layering my local colors in light washes multiple times until I reach the actual value of an area. Because of the loose nature of watercolor, I also like to use it to create natural gradients and textures. I used a bunch of different techniques on the forest area, but wet to dry blending was a big one I used to show the volume and shadows of the trees. One of the things I've learned over the years of working with watercolor is that it's a big culprit of being difficult to match value for, especially when you work in a more layered method like I do. Paint that looks dark in the palette will look lighter on the paper and lighter again once it dries. Over time I've learned not to worry about a color looking too dark, as the time I use relayering colors really outweighs the time it would take to adjust the other colors to match the new darker value. One of the things that really helps with this is having a value study or color comp to refer to while I paint, and the knowledge that I can basically fix whatever happens in the watercolor stage during the later mixed media stages. While I continue layering the watercolor for Dusk, I wanted to let you know about an upcoming show. I'll be tabling at Granite Con on September 18th and 19th, 2021, with lots of new prints and other good things for you to peruse. At my last convention in 2018, it was roughly a month into my freshman year of college, and I've been so lucky to evolve and grow my work into exciting new shapes since then. I'll have embellished prints, zines, buttons, stickers, original art, and mystery bags, and if you're planning to attend, be sure to let me know if there's anything in particular you'd like to see there. I have a bunch of work on my Instagram if you'd like to request a certain image as a print. As for Dusk, it features characters from Imaginary, a young adult fiction story I've been working on for a few summers. Casey, who's leaning on the fence, is a competitive high school frisbee player who finds a cursed necklace in the woods after school one day. Bia Frey, who's balancing over the plants, is the former inhabitant of that cursed necklace and would much rather stay and explore the human world than try and get the curse broken despite the problems it causes for the now also cursed Casey. I wanted to try and capture the feeling of seemingly endless twilight hours and 8:56 p.m. and the light fading golden hour purpliness that summer is so full of. Casey and Bayo get into lots of trouble, and in between times like sunset have lots of time for trouble, and the impossible seems a little more likely. I opened it up to everyone over on Instagram for conversation topics for this video, and Micah asked me about how I get inspiration. Unfortunately for me, this turned out to be a harder question than I anticipated and spent a hot second thinking of my answer, which I was hoping would be something that makes me sound very articulate and intellectual, but if I've had the privilege of working with you in person, you know exactly what inspires me. I love light and color, that's number one. If I see pretty shadows somewhere or a light source in a room is really special, I'll usually call it delicious and then take a bunch of pictures of it to paint later. If it's really, really good, I'll take pictures and probably say that I want to eat it for dinner because it's, delicious, which doesn't entirely make sense, but if you're also a big light person like me, you get what I mean. Number two is that I really enjoy and am involved in a lot of artistic disciplines. I've done theater, photography, poetry, music, the whole shebang, and I really enjoy connecting things to different media by creating the same vibe. Or, I guess, taking the aesthetic from a non-illustration thing and allowing that to inspire an illustration, if that makes sense. Like how I love Katie Kirby's Cool Dry Place album, and was inspired to do the hazy graphite charcoal shadows on my figure drawing midterm from last semester. That's probably not a great example, but I guess my final answer is that I like things. I like them, and I like them so much I want to take them and bring them into a painting so you can experience something new out of them. Like a big juicer. Like a big juicer. I'm just making fruit juice out of all the things I love. I hope you like it. I'm now starting on Bayo's wings, and making sure the stained glass effect really comes through on them was really important to give off the magical vibe I wanted for the painting. So I broke one of my own mixed media rules. Normally I wouldn't glaze over watercolors in a contrasting shape and wash for fear it would pull up the painted sections under it, but because fairy wings will probably distort whatever you might be able to see through them anyway, I took the chance and layered up my first washes. This really helped sell the saturation for the mixed media portion of the wing design too. For mixed media, I'm now starting on my Copic marker layer. In my plans for this piece, I decided to use Copics to add my fading golden hour lighting because of the high saturation and consistent transparency. The only catch was that I had to wait until all the watercolor work was done because alcohol markers prevent more water from soaking into the paper. I've gotten it to work in the past, but because texture and transparency were so important to the lighting in this piece, it was the right call to be patient with the process. I reach a lot of the final colors in this stage, and I use my knowledge of all the Copic colors to help me quickly match to my value in color comps. The watercolors underneath provide bright layers and depth, as well as prevent too much Copic ink from soaking into the paper. Each of the media has a limit to how much you can use them before they start overloading the paper, but switching between media gives me more time and space to add to a piece before I reach it. The only thing I can't do in my first two stages is add light back into a piece, which is why I move on to my third stage, dry media and final touches.
happens all the time. It happens all the time. I don't mind if it's just this time. So of mine. Blood soaked and down, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. I don't mind if it's just this time. I don't mind just this time. I don't mind. I don't mind. It's just this time. I don't mind.
For the last stage of my mixed media process, I like to use colored pencils, gel pens, and ink. This is where I add in any glowy effects, highlights, and color correct any areas that may have drifted a bit from my original plan. I wanted to make sure the ink-lined wings didn't drag the eye down the illustration too quickly, so I added small highlights and areas of saturated contrast around the entire piece while sticking to my value scale. Detailing textures in the plants also happen during this stage, to a level where they're readable but also don't seem too realistic. I wanted to stylize this piece to a more storybook, illustrative feel with my other work because of the fairy tale nature of the characters and to pull in the more backyard, realistic kind of scenery. As we wind down on the last details here, I wanted to let you know that prints of this piece are available in my Redbubble shop and will be available in person at GraniteCon, and as of making this video, the original painting is available as well. Thank you so much for watching, and with that final reveal, I present to you Dusk.
You can see me in the hallway, never entering. You can hear me overthinking.
And then, as a bonus for those of you who always stay till the end of my videos, I present to you the actual audio of what goes on while I do paintings.
But I kept getting hired, and the World War II crew, they retired, and the girls all thought much higher of me. It's on the cutting room floor.